Welcome back. We're still going with these interviews with Roy Gandy, and we are getting to the point we're talking about not only engineering, but engineering in the real world, where you're making compromises to optimize. These compromises are not reducing the quality, they're getting the best performance from the different components to put them together. And it's something that Rega over the years have got a mastery of. When you look at the arm tube, that was revolutionary whenever they came out with a one-piece moulding for this. And that arm is used on planer 2s up to planer 10s and has been through various different improvements and different sets of tooling over the years. That basic arm design, because it works at the highest level, kind of different bearings to hit price points below that as well. And it only works because investing that much in that part allows you to have options and to have choices. And so instead of having a company where building blocks that they use are all different and picked out of the sky by different people, there is a continuity and a plan that makes the whole thing work together. This also applies to electronics. Whenever you can see the building blocks that are involved, and you actually find this year some exciting things happening very soon with this. Also, if you look at the engineering and the work that Rega have put into the new Kite loudspeakers, there's an awful lot of research in there, and we all know that will come to the fore and will be used in other projects in future. So the whole engineering approach about building a culture and a company is so important. And so this part leads us into the optimization of complete systems and complete companies. Now, if you like this, please do subscribe. I'd love you to do that. I also want to give another shout out here to Donald from Donegal. Now, if you want, this is my nice new jumper that I bought on holidays in Donegal. It's hand knit by a guy called Donald from Rathlin Knitwear, something like that. It's just because somebody asked me where to get my nice new jumper. If you phone up Donald or email Donald at Rathlin Knitwear, I don't know what his email address is, you'll have to look it up, and tell him Michael sent you. He won't have a clue who it is, so it might be quite fun to do that. Apart from that, enjoy the video, and then we'll be back with some more product-based ones very soon. Thank you for watching. All the best.
I mean, you've hit on something there that's very relevant to groundbreaking engineering. That most people think it's the idea that's very important, and everyone talks about patents to protect yourself. We're proud of our ideas, and as you know, they're totally open. And what we know is no one else can do them.
Yes.
Because it's the process, the manufacturing process, not the idea that gets very difficult.
Yeah.
And you've seen the amount of energy and effort goes into making the manufacturing work, whether that's in the jigs and fixtures that have to be made to micron tolerances, and then the training of the people to use those and utilize them, and the thinking behind it as well. That's something we're very proud of. And with the moving coil was probably an extreme. It didn't. The way you've seen it isn't anything like it actually happened. The way it happened was when our ability to make much better quality, higher cost turntables was becoming accepted by the market. We'd made the Planer 8 and the Planer 10. Distributors, people like you started saying, well, we need a moving coil cartridge. And I actually said, no way, because I've done this many times before. I can't do it, but I understand the technology behind it. I understand, as you said, there's maybe 5 companies in the world making them. There is a British company making them, but they just use the tried and tested methods of the past. Autofon did the patent in 1949 or 1946, and most people just make it according to that way. I'd said, no way, it's far too complex, far too much of a learning curve, but the pressure kept mounting. So eventually, we do sometimes, when the pressure is concerted from all distributors or a large group, we listen. And I thought the best thing to do was to take a ready-made generator from another company that had the expertise in making all of this production stuff that seemed insurmountable, and put it into our own body, because a lot of the bodies were questionable. So I embarked on visiting companies and talking to other companies in the world, like Goldring in England, like Clear Audio, like Lyra, and Spence in Switzerland. I think most of the moving coil companies, we had some sort of contact. Will you sell us generators? Will it go into the body? But as soon as we did that and we started getting the generators and we started looking at them, we thought, hang on, this doesn't make sense. Purely from our limited knowledge of magnetism, the generator in the moving coils were not moving in the correct way that they should to generate a voltage.
Okay.
And we sort of realised, and we started asking people, why are you doing it like this? The experts. And they said, oh, we've just always done it like that. And we, our way is, well, why have you tried changing that? No, it's difficult enough doing what we're doing. Our problem is always just keeping it going, and they keep breaking, and So that caused a problem for us, an aesthetic engineering problem that they didn't know really why they were doing it. It seemed wrong, but we didn't know why.
Still on.
So what we actually did was to make a huge, it was a 20 times scale model, and Phil made that.
Okay.
And that was the point. He got a sort of a stress illness, and he had to stay at home for a while. And it just sort of happened. It was all happening at the right time. He's a clockmaker by trade originally. We had the ideas, and Phil could actually make them. And what he did was to literally build a shed at home, put in some small clockmaking machinery, and make, actually we reckon it was nearly 200 prototypes over a period of a year or so. And we quickly found that virtually everything we did was wrong. We made loads and loads and loads of mistakes. We had ideas of how this magnetic path should work, and it was wrong. We made another one. We made all sorts of coils. We went into the mythology. We made air-cooled coils. We put coils on a cantilever. And it was just a long experience of making things wrong that led us into how these little coils were actually working in the magnetic field. There's actually nothing special, it's just they're so small. But they're generators. They're just a normal electrical generator, and the generator has fairly simple magnetic rules that the coil needs to move across the lines of flux. In a normal moving cartridge, they're not. They're about less than 10% of the motion is crossing the lines of flux because of the way they're made. I won't go into the technical bits, all out there somewhere else.
But. Also there are some great videos by What Hi-Fi and a couple of American dealers of a tour of the Rega factory, where they actually show you how these tiny coils are wound by hand. So check out those videos for that. There's also a video which I'm going to plug, which I'm going to be embarrassed if Roy actually watches, because I did one a little while back about how a cartridge works, on the basis that people talked about this and had no idea what was happening with it. Simple stuff, a magnet moving and coils staying still, or the other way around, and how this relative movement was what generated something that had to be understood and measured and amplified and all that. So you can also check out that video as well about that.
If you've done school physics,
it's all it is.
You have a piece of wire, you move the magnet, and it generates.
Moving iron and moving coil meters. And how they work.
Exactly.
That's basically
and the moving coil is more accurate.
Absolutely. It's a better measuring device. So, that was touching on the likes of someone being able to take a project and that type of ownership of their own work within Rega. Whenever we now look though at where Rega has become, the growth, as we were saying yesterday, has been phenomenal. More and more people are appreciating the products, and you're still sitting outside the mainstream as a company. I think it's been fascinating for people to listen to how this works and how Rega works, because we haven't really talked about products enough at all, and maybe we'll do that another day. But whenever you look at the products, you think, oh, Rega makes so many, but it strikes me that there are still lots of areas that are open and possible. But are there areas where you think, there's something there in my head to look at, or is that something you would rather not talk about? Or, where do you see maybe just technologies improving what you've done? What's ahead?
Everything you just said, actually. Yeah, we have lots of ideas that we're continuously researching. Very recently, we've produced a thermosetting plastic cabinet for a loudspeaker, and we're now also working on other materials for loudspeaker cabinets instead of wood. We've been very fortunate to have a genius electronics designer that's produced this unique circuit of his own that's now producing these amazing amplifiers that we make. And none of it's marketing, what I'm so excited about is it's the sound quality that is capturing people and doing the marketing. It does make us sell more.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed them. I can't imagine anybody watched them all at one session, because you have to stop and start and go back to it. But I really hope that you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed watching it back, because as you do it, you're just in the moment, but whenever you watch it back, you just think, this guy is really smart and I want to own some of his products. So I really hope you got that feeling, and if you want to watch more of our videos, please do subscribe. We'll be back with more product news in the very near future. Thanks for watching.